In August 2015, 16-year-old Greta Thunberg, like many adolescents her age, decided to skip school. However, unlike most who spend their time out in friends or studying, she spent the entire day sitting alone outside the Parliament building with a sign saying, "School strike for climate." Ever since Greta learned about climate change and the perils it poses to modern society, she became horrified, spiraling into a depression so severe that at one point she refused to talk or eat. Fortunately, she eventually emerged from this catatonic state with a new resolve to do something to save her and her peers' futures. And so far, her efforts have paid off. She's addressed politicians, corporate executives, and international leaders, from Pope Francis to the World Economic Forum, carrying the same blunt message. If adult leaders don't act, their irresponsible behavior will no doubt be remembered in history as one of the greatest failures of humankind. Climate change is defined as changes in global temperature, precipitation, and wind patterns, as well as other measures of climate that occur over several decades. Numerous scientific studies have made it clear that climate change has been occurring since the Industrial Revolution, as the planet's average surface temperature has risen 0.9 degrees Celsius since then, with a 99.999% chance that humans are to blame. While this may seem like a trifling difference, the Earth's ecological balance is delicate, and National Geographic estimates that human-caused changes in climate have played a role in 14 of 28 storms, droughts, and other 2014 extreme weather events investigated by global scientists. Despite this irrefutable evidence that climate change is a serious problem caused by human action, few steps have been taken to address it, especially within the United States. Why? The answer is denialism. In science, criticism and review are imperative to accuracy. However, these real and necessary institutions have been replaced by denialism and contrarianism, in which people simply reject evidence that doesn't confirm previous beliefs, rather than actually refuting it. In today's world of media that values sensation over substance, these skeptics have been given full free rein, allowed to present their fallacies as facts, a different and equivalent side to the so-called debate on climate change. For example, in the 1990s, these contrarians pointed to evidence produced by a pair of researchers at the University of Alabama in Birmingham. Their data appeared to indicate that Earth was not warming and in fact cooling, much to the delight of climate change critics. For years, fossil fuel industries and special interest groups cited this study to justify climate inaction, denying there's a problem at all. However, in 2005, careful review led to the revelation that a simple sign error had caused the MSU algorithm to mistake warming for cooling. The mystery was solved, but the damage was already done. This is just one of the many examples of denialism that the fossil fuel industry has perpetrated to ensure that they can cash in on Earth's resources while paying no regard to the damage they're doing to the future of both planet and humanity. Hydrocarbon companies have in fact paid ludicrous sums of money to a plethora of seemingly reliable organizations such as the Cato Institute and the National Policy Center for Policy Analysis, as well as numerous others. They have established a clear mission: to mislead large sections of the American public into thinking that evidence for human-caused warming is uncertain, unsound, and politically tainted, and thus unfit to serve as the basis for any political action. It's no wonder that public understanding of science has been woefully undermined, leading to a halted climate policy, as the people who elect our leaders don't know what to believe anymore. Nevertheless, there is still hope. According to the United Nations, we have 12 years to limit climate change to the 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold that is considered safe. It might not be much, but it's certainly better than nothing, and there are numerous actions that everyone can take to contribute. However, the most important is being an informed, conscious, and active citizen. It'll be impossible to stop climate change without eradicating the plague of denialism, which is why it's critical to educate yourself and those around you about the facts and the urgency of the situation, so that you can make responsible choices and support politicians and organizations who do as well. This mindset has spread as environmentalism has grown, and the impact is clear. In 2014, mayors of 3 of the 5 largest cities in the US joined to form a group aimed at achieving major reductions in their city's carbon emissions. In 2015, President Obama vetoed a congressional bill to greenlight the Keystone XL pipeline. And in 2016, the Rockefeller Family Fund announced that it would divest itself of all fossil fuel holdings, the culmination of a global divestment campaign that now amounts to over $50 billion in funds. While climate change policy may currently be in the rut with the current administration, its term is coming to a close, and soon the American people will be put on the spotlight again. It's then that we must remember to speak and act from our minds and our hearts, because whatever we choose, we will be heard.